You know, sometimes it takes hard work to live in harmony with nature. Here at Babcock Ranch, we've undertaken major projects to restore and preserve the land, including panther habitats, restoring Curry Lake to its historical ecosystem, and carefully managing stormwater. We're back with Christina Cantos, our environmental manager, to tell you more about these projects.
As a part of mitigation, we do a variety of land management activities in order to preserve and restore our native habitats. These activities include prescribed fire, exotic vegetation removal, mechanical grinding, roller chopping, supplemental plantings, and a whole variety of other tasks, including wildlife monitoring. I provide a lot of education regarding wildlife coexistence and creating that fire-wise community for the residents that are surrounded by these preserves. Another vital component to our mitigation plan is hydrologic restoration. Right behind me, you'll see a weir that was constructed to rehydrate the Curry Lake Preserve area. Historically, this area was previously drained for certain ag purposes. By restoring and holding back that water, we have increased the amount of biodiversity here within this particular wetland. We have a huge conservation success story by reintroducing the Everglades snail kite, which is a federally endangered species, which once had disappeared from this area, but because of the hydrology that has now been restored, it has returned. Another benefit that the weir systems provide is to help prevent flooding. When we have heavy rain events, it actually slows down the water throughout the canal systems to help prevent that flooding throughout the community. Within the 13,000 acres of preserves we have here at Babcock Ranch, we have a variety of habitat communities. These types of habitats include freshwater marsh, pine flatwoods, oak hammocks, cypress domes, and so much more. As you can see behind me, we have a beautiful wetland area which has been managed for exotic vegetation species. By managing those species, we prevent creating that monoculture of non-native exotic species that will take over our native plants. So by removing them, we create a very diverse and healthy habitat. The Florida ecosystems have evolved around lightning. Lightning can cause wildfires out in these beautiful habitats of Florida. Prescribed fire helps to reduce the fuel load that's on the ground. You can really tell that there's a lot of material on the ground, and this is all very dry. This is the perfect material for a wildfire to spark from lightning. So by doing prescribed fire, we're actually removing all of that dead material on the ground, and we're opening up that ground cover not only for herbaceous plants to grow back for wildlife species such as gopher tortoises, but we're reducing that fuel load on the ground and reducing it to ash. This ash actually becomes nutrients for the soil and then helps feed the plants. But not only did the habitats evolve with fire, such as the pine flatwoods, but there are actually a lot of fire-dependent species. This includes the gopher tortoise and the red cockaded woodpecker. Now, these two species rely on fire for their survival, which is extremely important. Gopher tortoises are a fire-dependent species. Now, this ground-dwelling species, they need herbaceous plants in order to survive for their food resources. So a really important aspect about fire is that it's going to go ahead and clear that ground cover. And what happens is you're not only renewing the nutrients within the soils, but you're renewing the herbaceous vegetation for them to eat. Now, as we kind of go up within the forest floor, you have the mid-story, which is where you'll find shrubs just like saw palmetto, which is about my height. That is another important aspect of keeping this mid-story at a nice level. This allows the sunlight to reach the ground cover to help provide growth for their herbaceous food resources, as well as to be able to warm gopher tortoises in the sunlight since they are cold-blooded. Another important aspect is that on the aprons of their burrows, that's where they lay their eggs, and so that sunlight helps to incubate their eggs, which is why it's so important to keep a nice open mid-story. Southwest Florida is home to the very cryptic and federally endangered Florida panther. This species is so vital to our Florida ecology, they actually keep everything in balance. So they are considered a keystone species and are the very heart of Florida's ecology. By protecting the Florida panther, we actually protect all of the species that live in Florida. And so they're an umbrella species where they're protecting everybody under them. Something that we do here at Babcock Ranch is making sure that our preserves are connected. Habitat connectivity is so vital to the survival and population recovery of such an endangered species. And so within our mitigation plan here at Babcock Ranch, we are protecting 11,000 acres of preserved land, such as these beautiful pine flatwoods, to make sure that the habitat stays connected for their continued survivability, which is also a part of the Florida Wildlife Corridor.
From water management to panther protection, at Babcock Ranch, we're committed to doing what's best for everything that lives here. With smart planning and implementation, these projects not only create a healthier ecosystem, but also a more beautiful one.